Welcome to this video tutorial on Fusion 360. Today we're going to be focusing on how to create an orthographic projection of your passive AMP project. Now this tutorial follows on from the video tutorials that Mr. Paswani has created, and he has very kindly shared his design of the passive AMP that you can see here. I've got a hold of that design now, so I'm going to use this one specifically to create an orthographic projection. Alright, so at this stage of the project you should have a finished model ready to create an orthographic projection. Now there are a couple of different names for an orthographic projection. You may hear us refer to them as engineering drawings. We may even refer to them as working drawings from time to time, but they all mean pretty much the same thing. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to go to the top here where it says File. I'm going to click on File, and then I'm going to go to New Drawing from Design, and then I am going to press I'm going to actually go over to this little tab that appears. It says Create Drawing. We want a full assembly, that's fine. We're going to create from new. This template can be scratched, that's fine. Standard ISO standards is fine, millimeters is fine, A3 is fine, so that's all okay. Press OK there, and it brings us to the drawing section of Fusion 360. So this is what the basic drawing template looks like, and you can see straight away there's a couple of things happening on the page. The first thing is that something wants to draw here. It's a particular view. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore what that is, because it wants to help you, it wants to get you drawing straight away. So if we go over here to the drawing view tab, it's allowing us to do a couple of things. First of all, it's asking us which orientation we would like. So we have front view, we have back view, we have a lot of different views here. We're going to try and draw what we call first angle projection today. So we're going to start with the back view, and we are going to change the scale. Now we're going to change the scale from 1 to 2, that would mean that the model size would be twice as big as what the drawing size is, to a scale 1 to 1, which means they are exactly the same size. So that looks like a good size for us there, and we're going to place that view in there. Now I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to right click, and it's going to ask me a couple of things. It's going to ask me if I'm okay with this. I'm not okay with this at the moment, so I'm going to go to projected view, and now you can see that the drawing has changed, and I'm going to talk about why it's changed and what it looks like in just a second. So projected view, and then I'm going to click over here, and it now gives me my my next view, which is my front view, which is what I want to put over here, and I'm just going to space it out about there, and then I'm going to drop my elevation, or my plan view even, down underneath my end view like this, and then I am going to add one more view, which is going to be my isometric view like that, and I'm going to click there, and I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to press OK. That gives me 4 views. Now they've all gone black and white, and the reason for that is because when I right click and I go edit view, or double click, I can also edit view, I can change the appearance. Now at the moment we are dealing with drawings which are visible edges only. We can change that to a couple of different views. We can have visible and hidden edges. We can have shaded, or we can have shaded with hidden edges. So I'm going to change the isometric projection here to shaded, and I'm going to press close. And what happens there is we're now left with a nice and clean isometric drawing. Sorry, orthographic drawing. But on top of that, there we have also a very visual drawing here as well for the isometric. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to explore making this drawing a little bit more technical. So I am going to go to the zoom tool, and I am going to zoom on a window about here and click, and that allows me to bring my page a little bit closer. Then I'm going to go to the dimension tool at the top, and I am going to click on one part to another, and you can see this is 18 millimeters thick, which is a nice size because we have material that is 18, and that is a dimension added in there. I'm also going to add in another dimension along here, and you can see that that is 150. So try and get your dimensions to line up, because that will help with the accuracy and also the communication element of your project. And you can see here as well, I've also put in another dimension, and I can keep going like that. I can keep adding in a couple of dimensions there, so I'll add in a couple more. And you'll see there that 3 millimeters is too big to go in there, so it's showing it slightly differently. That's just because of the thickness there. So you can keep adding dimensions. I'm just going to go back to fit again, so you can see there I would continue adding in those dimensions until my page was fully dimensioned. Now, this is a standard Fusion 360 layout for the page. It isn't particularly nice, and in fact, if you wish, you can just escape from there. You can actually select it, and hold on a second, you can get rid of it if you wish. It's completely up to you. The page does look a little bit bare without it, but you can add in your own templates. I'm not going to focus on that in today's video, but maybe do a video on that down the line, maybe more closely related to when you're doing your GCSE. For this moment in time, you can leave that in there, but I just wanted to show you that you can actually get rid of that and add in your own templates, and we may even share with you a St. Christopher's template at some stage. You can also double click on the text box, the edit the title box, I should say. So I'm just going to try that again. It's not quite letting me in there, so let me try that again. So if I just click, yeah, if I actually click on the text itself, I should be able to edit it. What I can do actually here is I can actually zoom in on it, so I'm just going to do that, and it might make it a little bit easier. See, it brings it up nicely there. And then if I double click on various different aspects, so created by Mr. Doherty, we'll put in there department DT, you can edit the text there, and you can actually add that in nicely there for yourself as well. So just to recap on the isometric or the orthographic drawing so far, I have included a side view. I've inserted a front view as well, and also a plan view, as well as an orthographic view. I've added dimensions. I have shown you how you can possibly tweak the border, as well as putting in or editing the title box as well. So it gives you that area of technicality to your drawing. Now, there are a lot of other things, and we're only really scratching the surface with this. The one last thing that I will show you very briefly, and I'll leave this as an option to you if you would like to have a go at this or not, is you can also include tables. Now, tables are really useful if you are wanting to create a parts list for your project. So if I click on table there, I can pull the table in here, for example, and it will stick there. And what it does is it automatically creates what are called balloons. And those balloons basically point to specific elements of the project, and they label them. And then you can come in and you can actually edit that as well. So you can change the part list. You can take out anything that you don't want, any aspect of it that you don't want, part number, quantity, and so on and so forth. And these balloons you can actually move around as well. So if I drag number 4 to say here, click on it there, Yeah, so it moved that way. I clicked on the balloon first. You can actually move those around so they're highlighting specific parts. And that's just a nice way again of making it quite technical. Now I'm not going to drag all of them around, but it gives you an idea of things that you can do. As I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of other things you can include, but I think this is a good introduction to the orthographic projection. And then we might do a sort of a second part to this video later on once you've kind of got to grips with what you're doing there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for listening.